Imagine standing at the edge of your world where the land falls away into mist and mystery. The horizon stretches out, unknown and uncharted, and all you have are questions. What lies beyond those distant hills? What stories do the stars tell? And where do the rivers lead? For our ancestors, the world was a place of wonder and uncertainty, filled with both promise and peril. With only stories about what lies beyond, people gathered around fires, listening to tales of far-off lands and imagined monsters. These stories were more than entertainment, they were survival guides, warnings, and dreams woven together. That urge to know, to record, is ancient. Long before written language, humans marked their world with symbols and drawings trying to make sense of the unknown. Over 2,600 years ago, someone pressed a stylus into clay, creating the Babylonian map of the world, the Imago Mundi. This was more than a record, it was a declaration of existence, a way to say, we are here. This map didn't show continents but placed Babylon at the center, surrounded by a river and mythical islands. It reflected how people saw themselves in relation to the cosmos, blending fact and legend. It wasn't for navigation, but to declare, we are at the center of everything. The map was a statement of identity, a way to anchor a community in a vast, mysterious world. Early maps defined territory, community, and the cosmos, practical but also cultural statements. They were tools for survival, but also for storytelling, for shaping how people understood their place in the universe. They imposed order on chaos, turning the unknown into something graspable. By drawing lines and symbols, people could tame the wild, make sense of danger, and plan for the future. Even before paper, hunters scratched roots on bark, marking the way to water or prey. These early maps were fleeting, but they carried vital knowledge. Farmers drew lines in dirt, ephemeral but driven by the same impulse. They mapped fields and boundaries, ensuring survival and cooperation. Maps are shared memory, passing knowledge across generations. They are bridges between past and future, teaching children where to find food, water, and safety. Before mapping the world, people had to imagine it existed beyond their village or valley. Curiosity and imagination fueled exploration, pushing boundaries ever outward. The Babylonian leap, from local to global, set the foundation for all future cartography. It was the first step in seeing the world as a whole, not just a collection of isolated places. That journey, from clay tablets to GPS, is the story of how we learn to see ourselves in the world. Mapping is more than drawing lines, it's about understanding who we are, where we come from, and where we might go next. The Greeks transformed map-making with philosophy and math. They proposed Earth was a sphere, radical for their time, and used evidence like the curved shadow on the moon to prove it. Eratosthenes in Alexandria measured Earth's circumference using shadows and geometry, astonishingly close to the real value. Ptolemy later created the Geographia, assigning coordinates and discussing projections, laying out a system, not just a map. Though flawed, Ptolemy's framework shaped Western and Islamic cartography for over a millennium. Rediscovered in the Renaissance, his work inspired explorers like Columbus, who relied on its calculations. The Greeks' systematic approach turned maps into scientific tools, launching the age of exploration. Old maps built on new ideas became blueprints for discovering the world. In 1929, a fragmentary world map by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis was found in Istanbul. Drawn in 1513, it showed Europe, North Africa, Brazil, and Atlantic islands with surprising accuracy. Piri Reis compiled it from about 20 sources, including possibly a map owned by Columbus. The map reveals how knowledge crossed cultures, through trade, espionage, and conquest. Its debated features, like a mysterious southern landmass, spark wonder and speculation even today. The Piri Reis map marks the shift from inherited tradition to first-hand exploration, stitching together a new world from many voices. 16th century sailors faced a dilemma: how to navigate a round world with flat maps. Gerardus Mercator's 1569 projection solved this by making lines of longitude parallel and stretching latitude, distorting landmasses but making navigation practical. On a Mercator map, a straight line is a constant compass bearing, a sailor's dream. This projection became the mariner's standard for centuries, shaping not just travel, but our worldview. The distortion inflated Europe and North America, shrinking equatorial regions and reinforcing a Eurocentric perspective. Mercator's map, designed for navigation, subtly influenced global perceptions of power. Every map is an argument, not just a picture. The way we see the world is shaped as much by the mapmaker's choices as by geography itself. The Enlightenment brought a new era of scientific rigor and curiosity to map-making. No longer content with inherited myths or vague outlines, scholars and explorers of the 18th century sought to understand the world with unprecedented accuracy. Maps became more than just navigational tools, they were symbols of knowledge, progress, and the human drive to uncover the unknown. National surveys like France's ambitious Cassini project pioneered the use of triangulation to create unified, reliable maps. For the first time, entire countries could be measured and depicted with mathematical precision, transforming how people understood their own lands. But the Enlightenment spirit reached far beyond Europe. Explorers set their sights on the vast, mysterious southern continents, places that, on maps, were little more than blank spaces or speculative sketches. The urge to fill in these blanks drove daring voyages into the unknown. Captain James Cook's legendary voyages across the Pacific Ocean brought a new level of detail and accuracy to world maps. His careful observations and precise measurements dispelled centuries-old myths, revealing the true shapes of coastlines and islands, and filling in the map's most mysterious regions. Cook's maps, grounded in direct observation and meticulous measurement, replaced centuries of speculation with hard data. His work set a new standard for cartography, inspiring others to pursue accuracy and evidence over legend. For the first time in history, the world map began to take on a form that closely resembles what we recognize today. The age of blank spaces was ending, replaced by a vision of the world that was detailed, interconnected, and ever more complete. Accurate maps quickly became essential tools for empires. They enabled nations to expand trade routes, plan military campaigns, and lay claim to distant territories. The power to map was the power to control. Mapping was both a scientific and political act, linking knowledge to power. Maps were presented in royal courts and diplomatic meetings, shaping decisions that would alter the course of history. The Enlightenment's relentless quest for accuracy was inseparable from the ambitions of nations. Science and statecraft worked hand in hand, each fueling the other's progress and reach. The world map became a powerful symbol of discovery, of knowledge, and of dominance. It was a testament to human curiosity, but also to the ambitions that shaped the modern world. The evolution of the world map is tied to the tools that made it possible. The compass, arriving from China, let sailors venture beyond sight of land. Latitude was measured with astrolabes and sextants, but longitude was a mystery, until the marine chronometer. John Harrison's chronometer finally let sailors keep accurate time at sea, solving the longitude problem. With sextant and chronometer, mariners could pinpoint their position anywhere on Earth. This revolutionized navigation and map-making, turning oceans from unknown voids into charted highways. The combination of new tools and scientific method made global mapping possible. The world became measurable, navigable, and knowable. Technology transformed the art of cartography into a science. Maps don't just reflect reality, they create it. Modern borders, often drawn by outsiders, have shaped nations and fueled conflicts. The scramble for Africa saw European powers carve up the continent with straight lines, ignoring local realities. Similar stories unfolded in the Middle East, where borders served colonial interests, not communities. Maps became tools of power, defining who belonged and who didn't. Even today, disputed borders are battlegrounds on paper and in politics. Maps shape national identity and international claims. Every line is history, politics, and identity made visible. For centuries, mapping meant measuring from the ground. Sputnik's launch in 1957 changed everything, giving us a view of Earth from space. Satellites revolutionized cartography, mapping the planet with unprecedented detail. Geographic Information Systems, GIS, turned maps into dynamic, layered databases for analysis. GIS transformed fields from urban planning to disaster response, making maps powerful analytical tools. GPS, powered by satellite constellations, now gives anyone instant, precise location data. The last blank spaces vanished. The world became fully mapped. The map moved from clay tablets to interactive screens in our pockets. Today, everyone carries a live, personalized map, guiding us anywhere, anytime. The digital frontier has made the world's map accessible to all. The journey from clay tablet to GPS is about more than accuracy. It's about how we see ourselves, and how we choose to understand the world around us. Every era has had its own way of charting the unknown, and each new tool has changed not just how we travel, but how we imagine our place in the world. Each of us carries a mental map, shaped by experience, education, and the maps we've seen. These mental maps are more than just directions. They're stories, memories, and even dreams woven together over a lifetime. These internal maps reveal our biases and sense of place. They show what we value, what we fear, and what we hope to discover. Sometimes they even limit us, keeping us within familiar boundaries. The Mercator projection, for example, distorts our mental geography, making some places loom larger than life. It's a reminder that every map is a choice, and every choice shapes our worldview. Maps are personal too. A hand-drawn route, a marked-up tourist map, a trail from a favorite hike. These are the maps that tell the stories of our lives, marking the places that matter most to us. They're artifacts of memory and experience, not just navigation. Each note, each line is a record of where we've been and what we've felt along the way. In this way, we're all cartographers, mapping our own worlds. Whether we realize it or not, we're constantly drawing and redrawing the boundaries of our lives. The map is a storyteller, reflecting our ambitions, biases, and dreams. It's a canvas for our hopes, a record of our journeys, and a mirror for our identities. The world map is never finished. It evolves as we do. With every new experience, every journey, and every discovery, we add new details to our personal maps. Mapping the world is, ultimately, mapping ourselves. As we chart new territories, both real and imagined, we come to understand not just where we are, but who we are.